thought. We'd like to welcome any new members or guests that are present. I'm not going to embarrass you and ask you to stand up. The Chicago chapter would also like to give special thanks to today's program host and lunch sponsor, ANEW and their guests, ANEW and Aspire. A couple of other housekeeping issues. We're currently moving to a membership bundling concept beginning July 2013. Membership dues will include program registration fees. For more information, please visit our chapter website or ask a board member. There's a sustainability questionnaire blue sheet on your chair. It's just a short survey. If you could please take the time to complete it and leave it, that would be great. The chapter sustainability committee would appreciate your input. Upcoming events: June 26th, Tyo and Herb Brainy Bite, How to Avoid Career Obsolescence, hosted at KPMG. And on July 18th is our annual meeting at John Barley on Kinsey. 4:30 p.m. start, followed by dinner. IFMA Live Watch. Registration is open on our website. At this time, I would like to introduce Anthony Minty, who is the chairman of the board of the ANEW Foundation.
I'd say it the Italian way, Minetti. Thanks. Let's butcher it all the time, no problem. Good morning, and thank you so much. What a great turnout. I have the privilege today to introduce the founder of ANEW, Rose Tourje. I wanted to just give you a quick backdrop to my involvement and participation with this nonprofit. It goes back about 6 years now, and I've served on the board pretty much the whole time. In my former life as a CEO of Bentley Carpet Mills, we had taken this on as one of our sustainable charitable organizations that we would work with, and it became then a personal matter for me and many others inside our organization to keep ANEW going strong. And it is because of people like each of you, we are continuing to build, and now we are presently just working through many different projects with many big-time end-use customers who are working with us to repurpose furniture and repurpose it for those who need it. We are presently have done projects in 13 countries, and we are continuing to build from within a sustainable nonprofit company through ANEW that I think will allow us to sustain for years to come. Rose is a passionate woman, you'll hear in a minute, and Rose basically gave up a very successful career in your industry and pretty much laid it all on the line to create this nonprofit. So it is her baby, I'll call it, and really I feel it's my job and many others' job to help this baby continue to grow. So with that said, I'd love to introduce Rose again.
Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me? Because I have a cold, I apologize. So thank you all for being here. It's a privilege to be able to present to IFMA chapter members in Chicago. After such a great show that we all had, I'm hoping and trusting the same for all of you. That this year we could really feel the surge of energy and new business taking place at the various showrooms. So I wanted to start with the math, or the numbers. Every year we know collectively in the industry that about half of all waste going to landfill, municipal waste, is coming out of and going to landfill through the construction industry. So that's domestic landfill. Most products include the drywall, the wood, the furniture, and everything in between, curtain wall material, glass, and so on. Of that percentage of material, it equals about 4 billion pounds every year, going to each of those, about 3,000 landfills across the U.S. Our piece is really sparing about 1 million pounds per year, which is a drop in the bucket. And it's profound. Why would I leave a solid career and a paycheck to go out and do something that was really going to yield so little in terms of amount? Well, the answer is, it is almost countless how many people our work really does touch. And you're going to hear today in our presentation that numbers matter, but people matter more. And what we're able to do with the work that I had started 8 years ago is essentially transforming the industry practice of taking waste and surplus items, furniture, fixtures, equipment, essentially, out of the corporate offices that all of you work in, all of the companies that you interface with, and it's redirected or given an encore. And it lives within the life of the charities, within the communities that those companies and our clients live. So essentially the community is strengthened, and then surplus is avoided altogether from landfill, and we are having an impact. And we know that impact is reducing climate change issues. We also know that the impact is really making a difference for people. So I'm Rose Tourje, I'm the founder of ANEW, and thank you so much for being here. And we're going to hear from Becky Hammer, the Director of Donor and Recipient Relations, and she's going to walk us through a very wonderful slice. It's a case study project that we got to do as ANEW with Technion, with OM, and with a nonprofit that we'll learn more about, Aspire. Thank you.
Well, I'm Becky Hammer, the Director of Donor and Recipient Relations at ANEW. So I have the awesome privilege of working both with clients, end users, and recipients. And our goal often in clearing out a space is to find nonprofits and gift that furniture to. So I want to again thank our hosts today and our sponsors, IFMA, Technion, Office Max Workplace, and of course our recipient this year, Aspire. So thank you. So again, as Rose shared, ANEW is a national nonprofit organization, and we really want to provide our clients with cost-effective ways and alternatives to stewarding their corporate surplus furniture, fixtures, and equipment. So again, our purpose is to raise awareness about outcomes related to common surplus liquidation practices. And as Rose shared, we know we have an effect on climate change because we know it's not ending up into a landfill. So this, we call it truly a new alchemy, and that really means to us transforming corporate surplus into community service. And these three photos here, which are hard to tell, they're actual projects. The one on the end here is working with the fire department in Michigan who had nothing, literally nothing. And we were able to provide them some space planning, some amazing furniture that came out of the site, and they were able to create a whole new office out of this used furniture. The middle picture, which you can't see, is one of our projects we worked on in Malawi, Africa, and that was a school. You can see the tables there that they received, and I can tell you there were lots of smiles on those kids' faces. And the last one is a project very close in Minnesota for a college a small college that was in dire need of furniture, and we were able to give them furniture. So thank you. So ANEW is doing what's right with what's left by extending the life cycle. And what today's purpose is really to talk about with you what we've done in our partnership with Technion, and truly Technion is a great organization, a great company to work with. We work with Technion, they're a sponsor of ANEW. We work with them throughout the U.S. and Canada in taking their excess surplus furniture and finding homes for it. And each year, specifically in this showroom, we have the opportunity to match beautiful, pristine furniture to some amazing groups. And so before I go any further, I want to introduce to you Tracy Backus with Technion. She's the Director of Sustainability. So she's going to share
Thank you all for coming. Are we done with Neocon yet? This is the best part, right? I'll be brief because I know we have a lot to get to, but what I want to just charge all of you with as designers, architects, facilities managers, whatever you do, thinking that it doesn't make a difference, just that small piece can make a huge difference in some of these not-for-profits. We look at manufacturing, and so much of what we've done in the mart, everybody that's a tenant here thinks about how this product comes to market. And when we think about sustainability, we're really focused on now, what's it made of, what's in it, what's it going to happen, how's it recycle, how does it ship. But if we forget to look at what that life expectancy is after its use, and we don't look at what the opportunities are to extend that life and to have a social responsibility embedded and woven into the sustainable responsibility, we're really missing what is at our hearts as designers. I think that's what we really are all about when we took that oath, to do good for others, to really be cognizant of what we're doing for our community, and also for clients at large. I want to thank Mark Alman, because Mark is really how this whole Aspire piece came together at a networking event, totally not connected to Chicago. It was actually in California. He raised his hand and said, you know, I'm on a board. These people need some help. If you guys are doing something with Chicago, I know you want to stay within 30 miles of the mart for not-for-profit. Last year we did Gigi's House, the Firehouse here in Chicago, Women's Center, and so this year in April we started working on what we could do for Aspire, and Leo's been amazing. So I'm thrilled to have him tell his story, and we're honored to be a partner with both of you guys. So, and they like to say they're not exclusive but inclusive, because I don't like that. Who else they work with? It's true, and love them.
Thank you, Tracy. So at this time, I'm very honored to meet and introduce to you Aspire. And if Leo, Tyo, and Herb Washington will come up, I'd like for them to share their story. I'm going to talk with them and be able to ask them questions, and you're going to hear this amazing story. So please come. Scoot over now. And what I'd like to also do is introduce Andrew Thornton, because Office Max has a role in this as well, so please come. And Andrew is the Director of Corporate Facilities, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. And Leo is the Director of Facilities at Aspire, and Herb is the Director of Partnerships at Aspire. And Aspire, just a little background, that's near and dear to me personally. So when you hear their story, you will understand why. So Leo, why don't you share?
I think I'm just gonna, I'm known for talking very loud. And nobody, at the office, the people come down and say, down. I said, what are you talking about? I am talking normal. So, first off, I want to thank both Becky and Tracy. I got this phone call out of nowhere this spring. And they said, well, we have some furniture for you. And I said, okay. No, you don't understand. It's free furniture. Oh, okay. And then we started. And then they told me that Mark had suggested that they contact me. Mark Edelman has been, and he's never known this, but he's been pretty much a mentor to me since '98, I think was when I first met him, and he got involved with Aspire. He served and chaired the facilities committee of the board, which I was tasked to, and has given me much guidance on so many array of things. And so, Mark, he even got me to go to Kansas City in 2001 for the IFMA conference. I flew, Mark took the train. It was just right after 9/11. and literally the month after 9/11. And so I'm not sure why he chose to take the train, but you could all figure that one out. But Mark has been a fantastic mentor and help to Aspire. So I want to thank him publicly as well. Thank you, Mark. Aspire, for those who don't know, is a not-for-profit organization that serves people with developmental disabilities. Fancy term, it's for people who have not as good cognitive abilities. I'm not the type of person who can use the proper terms. Herb can, however, and he'll speak up in a second. But what I am responsible for is we have 24 facilities, of which 16 are homes for developmental disabled adults. We have a children's program, which includes, for the first time last year, we partnered, or rather merged, with the Bell Center here in the city of Chicago on Wilson Avenue. And what the Bell Center presently does is mainly they go into schools and teach the teachers how to interact with students with disabilities. And so that's a new program that we have. Our children's program, when I first got here in '95, only did birth to 3. The federal law says that people with disabilities will have treatment and education through the school system between the ages of 3 and 21. Well, back in 1960, family members came together and said, we need to have something for our children and need help. And so they got together and they created an organization. In those days, it was called PARC. And as we grew, we changed our name to Aspire because the aspirations of the people we serve is what my job is all about, and the people that work for Aspire. And so that's how the quick transition of the program. Like so many not-for-profits, money's tight, and there's no question about it. You know, it's literally thousands of not-for-profits and charities here in the Chicagoland area, and people if they can only give so much, and they can only spread so much money around. Over the years, we depended too much on the state of Illinois. 90-some-odd% of our income came through the state of Illinois, or our revenue. That is down to just over 70% today. And that is through great people like John, who's our Vice President for Development, is sitting here. Herb, our Director of Partnership, who's gone out and told our story and got other people involved and with Aspire. Mark was one of the original people who got involved way back when, and so forth. And I can never, ever say enough nice about Mark. He has put me in touch with numerous organizations, and the new being the latest. And it was funny when they called me, because we are presently looking to, the place we have in Chicago is actually too small for the needs that we have. And so we're out looking for another site to move into. We need at least 3,000 square feet. And some of the furniture that was offered, which is actually what you're sitting on right now, Tracy, and so forth, we're planning on using in our new site and so forth. And it's really neat furniture. Some that we would never even think about getting because we're not for profit. We can't afford anything like that. And yet it's so useful. I mean, as you can see, Tracy sitting there and gossip with the person who's supposed to be working and so forth. But
Your whole staff
the whole staff is sitting there. There we are. So that's how we all work together that way. Actually, team interaction is extremely important and so forth. I can joke about it and so forth, but no, interaction is extremely important. One of the neatest things that ANEW got through Technon was this conference table. Now, most people say, oh, conference table, big deal. It's an extremely big deal for us because we can't afford getting a conference table. We had a bunch of tables that we put together in our multi-purpose room, in the conference room, and that's how we had to use. And we couldn't afford to go out. And they presented us this huge, beautiful conference table with a massive credenza, and we put it in our conference room, or our multi-purpose room, and that's used every month for many things, but one thing it's used is 10 work days is our employee training and so forth. And now we've got, you know, employees will come to work, first time, the first thing they see is, wow, this organization is something. And that is a direct result of Technon and ANEW, because we've never done it. We reorganized our community support system for our adults who live in the community, and again, they were working off some tables and chairs that don't even begin to match, that had rips in them and all that. Through the donation, we were able to take these tables, put them over in another facility where the community living is, and they got matching chairs that are very comfortable, and the tables that are very comfortable. And I finally, after all this time, been able to get rid of some of these ripped chairs and so forth. Now, taking into consideration what ANEW is doing, what we did though is I contacted a junk man instead of just throwing the stuff out into a dumpster, and then he recycled it. So that way. And so what you're doing is teaching us. And so
Absolutely.
I could go on and on and on, but I talk, as you all know, Herb can attest a lot. One of the things when I was on the phone though with Becky, I was telling her about this new program that we started for adults, and she really, what is it? And it's really exciting because it's going out of our comfort zone, and we partnered with Office Max to create an interesting and exciting new program. And I'm going to shut up now and turn it over to Herb and to Andrew and they can talk more about that. Thank you.
I was all prepared to launch into my Once Upon a Time in 1960. There were a group of parents who had kids with disabilities speech, but Leo has stolen most of my thunder. So I've got to kind of reorient myself and shift gears a bit here. One of the things you'll know with the three of us is that we talk loud, we talk a lot, and we can go on and on and on. So we got to kind of reel ourselves in here to stay focused.
You do.
Yeah, I know, because I know we're up against the clock. So what I'm going to simply say, I'm going to hit a few points about Aspire that weren't quite hit in Leo's spiel, and then Andrew and I will kind of bounce off each other as we segue into the career link piece. So one of the things that Aspire has prided itself on since its inception in 1960 is the idea of growth and being innovative and being an industry leader, not only in terms of the opportunities we can provide to kids and adults with disabilities, but also just in terms of being different from other providers that are out there. Being something different in terms of the opportunities we provide, but also being different in terms of how we interact with the community, how the community interacts with us, and looking at that as being a way to sustain ourselves, not only in the short term, but in the long-term sense as well. And so, two things that really stand out, three things actually, that really stand out in terms of being innovative drivers of Aspire. One, of course, we're going to bounce off in a second here, the Career Link piece, which is a fantastic new initiative. A few years ago, we started a coffee company called Aspire Coffee Works, which is a social enterprise. It's an opportunity for us to provide and produce and ship and sell quality coffee product, also to employ adults with disabilities and generate a revenue stream, which again goes back to that idea of long-term sustainability. So I would definitely implore all of you, if you haven't tried Aspire Coffee Works coffee yet, here's my plug, it's my shameless plug. Go out, buy it, try it, drink it, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbors, tell people you work with, go out and buy it. We have a number of colleagues out in the audience. By all means, talk to them afterwards. John McElwain, Michaela Casey, Monica, Sean back there, I see you. Hi.
Is this where the music starts?
Right, exactly. Right. Where I get the hook. The third piece, of course, is the idea of partnership. And we really recognize that we cannot exist on an island. And Leo's already talked about the difficulties in terms of financial viability long-term, depending on state or government funds. And so really the idea of partnership is going to drive us forward. Being able to partner with organizations such as ANEW and Technion and Office Max. Those are the partnerships that are going to help us to be sustainable, but also to make sure that we are part of a community, a larger community, and that those other organizations are part of our community. So with that said, I'm going to kind of shift gears here, let Andrew kind of jump right into Career Link.
Well, thank you everyone for having us here. We really appreciate it. One of the things that when I was at Office Max, we were tasked with is what can we do for community health? And I was asked to be on this committee of people to do what we're talking about today, and it totally hit home. You know, my wife's a special ed teacher. I see what she has to deal with, and this is my way of helping to give back a little bit. And when I go to these facilities, and we've been working to build the space that we see the participants and the students that are out there, and they're just so excited to see you doing something and helping them build this space. It really means more than money. You know, they see what we're doing, they ask questions, they want to know about stuff. I had a gentleman the other day where we were painting a bunch of fixtures that we were reusing to help the space out, and he pulled me aside and said, I'm really interested in airplanes. Could you put that paint on airplanes? And it really kind of gave you an idea of the fact that they're in a different spot, but it's still we're all in the same spot we can relate to them. So it really means a lot to go and see how we can relate and help these people out that need this training. So, you know, one of the things that we laid out is, well, I don't know if we have any pictures or anything, but we'll get some eventually here, is that we have a space that looks identical to a retail store. So if you went to an Office Max store now, which I urge you all to go to and buy your office supplies. We have a space in Hillside where Aspire's at that looks just like a retail store. You wouldn't know that you were not in a store. We, next to it, have a space that's a warehouse. So what we're able to do for the participants is to be able to give them a full circle of what it is like to pull the product off the shelf and maybe sell it to a customer and bring the customer up. We have everything. And then they get to actually see, maybe a following week or weeks later, they actually get to go work out in the warehouse and see what it's like to get that product in on a skid, a pallet, load the shelves with it, put it in everything, scan it, check it, see where it's going to go to the store that they're going to probably go back into in a couple of weeks. So they really get the full circle. So I'm extremely excited about it. We are right now doing Hillside, Illinois, with the Chicago market. Office Max has signed up to do Las Vegas next. After that, we're going to do Dallas, and then after that, we're going to do Columbus. So we hope that this keeps growing and growing and growing. And
somewhere in that mix is going to be Denver.
Yes. Well, they threw out Denver, and I said, well, if we're going to do Denver, we might as well do Hawaii, right? I mean, so if I have to go out to Hawaii and help set up space, you can count me in.
Thank you very much. Thank you, all three of you.
Thank you.
So you can have a seat there or go back, whatever. But so, Derek,
Would you like your own chair?
yeah.
We have plenty.
So we're going to rewind the tape a little to kind of get you started. How did this begin? Well, it begins with Technion, and it begins with our end users across the U.S. and Canada. And so what we often start with is that the donor form. We receive back an inventory and photos, and oftentimes a floor plan, especially if we're working with expansion or any kind of workstation. We want to see that footprint, and we want to know how can that be reconfigured back into a space that's not used for showroom. What does that look like? So typically that's where we start, by understanding our clients' needs and priorities. Always with Technion. Always. They are one of the most generous companies that I work with. I have that great honor and privilege when they entrust their furniture into our hands to find great homes for it. So I'm honored to work with them. Then we typically start with a site visit. We come and walk a site. We then issue a proposal, and that proposal may be based on several things. It could be resale, it could be repurpose, or it could be recycle or recycle. It could be all three. And so we offer our clients a true turnkey, comprehensive program where we're taking it all. So oftentimes we're really changing the practice of traditional liquidation, because a traditional liquidator will come in and they're going to cherry pick the very best. And they're going to offer X amount of dollars to your client. But then in return, now you have a great expense, a product now that has no value. So what do we do now? So ANEW, really through our partnership with Installment, is able to come in, assess the product, assess what the needs are, and then address each one of those waste streams, whether it was resale, repurpose, or recycle.
And we take all
All of
product
it.
in any condition.
So we call that truly our decommission strategy. And on every opportunity, that's how we look at it. And we really look at reuse because we know for some of our clients, they want to reuse their product and that they're going to maintain that investment. We look at resale and we really maximize the financial outcome. That's really our goal. Where is that hidden value? Where is it in the light fixture? Where is it in the carpet? Whatever it is, we can take a look at that. And then the green there is really, our objective is really repurposing that. ANEW is a national nonprofit organization, and so we're able to provide an itemized tax receipt for all product that's matched back into the community. We look at recycling, and really we're going to minimize the landfill through that material, I can't think of the word, I'm sorry, resource recovery. So, and then finally, what's really important to all of our clients that we work with is that metric tracking. We have a unique way of tracking every project, every chair, every carpet tile, whatever that is, we track it and are able to provide back to all of our clients a very detailed certificate of the tons diverted from landfill through whatever waste stream. So how do we do this? We do this with our proud partnership with InstallNet, and Dale Ewing is right here in our audience today. He is the president of InstallNet. InstallNet really truly operates as the operations arm of ANEW with over 250 independently owned service providers, some of which are right here in Chicago, which we use, around the U.S. and Canada. And they're able to, they understand our message and they understand who we are and our mission in keeping furniture, fixtures, and equipment out of the landfill. So these are just a partial list of some of our clients and some of our donors, because some of these donors want to donate furniture in terms of their mission, like Techneon mission, is to give back. Some of them, it's a resale component. So, and that's great too. All of it is a good way. There's no, these are fabulous clients. A lot of these clients on this list are reoccurring clients that we will do 5 or 6 projects a year with. There's one on there that we do constantly with. Very worldwide company. So this just gives you the wide variety of the clientele that we work with. This, again, is a partial list of just our recipients, a wide range. We have served well over 600 nonprofits in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. As Anthony earlier said, we have had the privilege of sending furniture to over 13 countries, so that's great. But most of the time, our furniture stays right here in the U.S., helping local charities. That could be schools, it could be healthcare, it could be drug recovery, whatever it is, that's who we serve. So in terms of the benefits of working with ANEW, these are our deliverables. So we talked about the Certificate of Social Sustainability, which really highlights and tracks our metrics. The middle one is, of course, our itemized tax receipt for all product that's matched. We offer documentation toward LEED certification. And then, of course, we have for our sponsors aggregate reporting. And we do third party for some of our clients who want to do that zero waste, that really are pursuing a zero waste. We have a third party verification process that we offer as well. So really we can create a very unique proposal that suits exactly you. So it may not be the same as this previous client, but it's unique to who you are and what your needs are. So as Rose said, again, we're doing what's right. So I can tell you we're over 10 million pounds of surplus furniture from being in the landfill. And again, we've actually diverted over 800,000 pounds of carpet from the landfill as well. And as you know, it takes 50 years to begin for a carpet to decompose in a landfill, just one little carpet. And so we're 8 years and counting, and each day I'm honored to say I love my job, I love what I do, and I'm privileged to work here. It's not just a job for me, especially when I meet clients like Technion and this group right here. That's near and dear to my own heart. So every day I know we are making a difference, and so I encourage you to make a difference as well. So here's how to find me, right here, and I have a card as well. But I want to open it up for question and answers, and then I know you're busy and we need to wrap up soon. Okay, so do we have any questions either for Technion, for these guys, for Install It, or for us?
I just had a question. What do you do with the carpet that you keep out of the landfill? What happens to it?
That's a great question. So her question was, what do we do with the carpet? Well, oftentimes we match that carpet to groups like Aspire. In this particular case, there's no carpet right now being matched, but all of this carpet was matched to different groups. So a company is clearing out of a space, they have this great carpet tile. They know that the landlord is going to strip it. So let's take that and gift it back to someone. That's what we do. And if it can't be, then we recycle it. Yes.
Assuming it is a company that's clearing out of a space,
Sure.
and you're going to get a call, and you're going to want a floor plan and maybe some pictures, and then you're going to come in and assess it, I assume after that, right? If you, is there a minimum?
No.
And you don't refuse anything, you should take all.
No. Except hazardous material waste, yeah. But,
I don't know.
sorry. This one's saying.
So, I guess I want to understand, because I've gone through this a couple of times where I've had downtown
You guys here in
locations.
the back?
Where I've had downtown locations, no, that's my fault.
No.
I have a downtown location where I want to decommission space, and I have furniture. And the challenge is, and we always look to try to gift it to a charitable organization, someone that's going to repurpose it, reuse it, and then the whole union piece comes in. And then all of a sudden it's going to cost me $10,000 to do the right thing. And it sounds like you community actually take care of that part of it?
There is a cost.
There is a cost.
Yes, so it's not free. So in this case, we, through our partnership with Install It, provide union labor. So there is a cost no matter what. We know always, we always tell our clients up front, we get that there's a cost to dismantle and remove product. We know that. So when we know that, then we think about how can we better that by looking at that value and understanding what value is here that could help offset or mitigate those costs. So sometimes, Kevin, and that's a great question, we can present a proposal at a cost neutral. Sometimes a proposal can come back as a return, or sometimes it's a cost proposal. It doesn't offset it at 100%, but there still might be value there.
Thank you.
Absolutely. People don't understand. If we take all these chairs to the landfill, you're going to pay for that. There's a trucking fee, there's a tipping fee, there's all kinds of fees associated with the landfill. So no longer do we live in a day where you can just throw something away for free. We don't.
And it's not just monetary, it's what are you doing really for the planet when you're doing that? When you haven't potentially thought a little bit in advance about your client's move or your own. And it just is as simple as reshuffling the deck in the services that you're already doing. When a tenant is moving, start to think about that furniture well in advance of that move. Start to think about how the impact of just allowing it to go to landfill is not only a cost monetarily, but it's a cost in health and, of course, in environmental issues. So we love to advocate, of course, and educate and raise awareness. This is really most of what I do. And it's to also share a personal story, the passion behind what I do and why I didn't just quit a job to do this. I witnessed something that changed my life that day. And it was time, of course, to maybe think about this in a more holistic way as the U.S. Green Building Council's practices were revving up, and that the manufacturers of our industry were all in support of building and creating more green materials. So it all came together at the right time, I feel. So we're 8 years into this, and there's no stopping us.
And Wayne, did you have a question?
Any questions?
Okay, great. Yes.
Becky, isn't it tax deducted too?
Yes,
That's
it's tax deductible to the full extent of the law. We're not tax experts, so we ask our clients, that's something that they need to work out with their own accountants.
So let me tell you how that works. You know, for us, when we do a showroom, we basically assess, much like you do with LEED, what that station would cost new. And that's how you itemize what that contribution is. And then you provide that, and then IRS determines what the offset is based on how many years it's been out there. The depreciation. So that's really how it works. So, you know, just like if you were doing clothing or any other sources, it's not brand new, but highly valuable. And I'll tell you, things that are 20 years old that people will call me and say, oh my God, it's terrible, I'm sure you don't want it. You would be amazed like how many of these nuts and bolts, especially for seating, right, Dale, that somebody needs to retool or to revamp seating that they have to extend the life, that there's a value. So just because it's really old or it might be in bad shape, I mean, obviously, we would never want to deflate anybody and a charitable organization by giving them something we wouldn't want to retain. But there is obviously a value to anything. So ask the question. I've learned, you know, just to ask that question. 20-year-old steel case has a value.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Any other questions? Yes.
You mentioned something in regards to resale. What do you mean by that?
So through the InstallNet proprietary network, they work with a wide network, not even necessarily here in Chicago. This network is wide, who understands our mission and our purpose and our goal. And so they will send out that information, inventory, and photos within that network to determine that value. Is there?
Yeah. So we look for all value that can be resold, and we look at all different pieces. We work with a specialist that comes in, takes a look at that, determines what the market value might be, looks at different options on how it can be resold for the best possible value, and the whole goal is to maximize that value to help offset the costs.
Correct.
For the removal. So.
And we can actually create a blended approach for our clients. Meaning we can actually do a resale piece component, but then look at the value of, hey, I want to give back to a local nonprofit here. So we're going to carve off this little workstation, component of 4, whatever, to give to that nonprofit. So then we can also do recycle. So it could be all 3 components. It's creative, yes.
Did you already answer if there's a minimum?
No, we've literally worked with clearing out one office to 1.5 million square feet. So yeah, we clear out
in 4 weeks.
That's right, actually, yeah. So I don't recommend that, but.
What about bits and pieces? We have some pieces that don't make up a whole workstation. Do you take bits and pieces?
It all depends on what it is. It's what's that?
Do yourself a favor and answer.
So typically we would recycle that. If you know, if you're just handing over a box of bolts, we're going to probably recycle that. Yeah, and we need to know, we need to understand what it is. And is that a box of bolts valuable to an Aspire? Probably not. And so we have to assess that as well.
But we'll take anything as long as it, like you said, unless it's hazmat, we leave that to the experts, but anything and everything within the interior built environment. So that's floor, wall systems, ceiling systems, and everything in between, the equipment, the appliances. It's really exciting. Sometimes we also get the cabinetry that holds office supplies, people's pens that are left over and stickers and sticky notes and such. And we'll organize it, and that goes back out to schools, old notebooks. It's amazing.
Yes.
Is this program just here in Chicago? Or?
No, we're a nationally
So,
and in Canada.
We do this process with every one of our showrooms. Every time we do a refresh, Dallas was the Cancer Institute in Dallas, so the goal that we share is a 30-mile perimeter from where that showroom space is or client to donate to that community.
And thank you. ANEW has a very wide network of nonprofits. People ask me all the time, how do you do this? Well, it's amazing. Our website, I encourage you to visit it. We don't advertise our furniture. We're not in big advertising, marketing, we don't do that. It's literally word of mouth.
To be Dallas Sassoon, remember the old commercial? You tell two friends and they tell two friends.
That's
and
right.
so on and so on. So we have 60 of you right here to go tell two friends today.
Yes, right.
Does this cost a non-for-profit, shipping and the installation?
So that's a great question. So let me tell you a story. So we have a unique circumstance sometimes where product may be shipped across state lines. So we have a circumstance here in Chicago in this showroom where product was actually going to be freighted and shipped to my home state of Colorado to a nonprofit there. That nonprofit paid for that freight, did not pay for the product, but paid in terms of freighting that and getting it there all in one piece. And it's all beautiful Teflon product. Most of the time we stay within, again, that 30-mile radius where that product is coming out. When it's a unique situation, so we had a project in Canada, right in Winnipeg, where a nonprofit college in Minnesota had a trucking president on their board. They wanted these workstations that were coming out of this firm in Canada. So they actually paid the trucking to bring that truck across the Canadian border, U.S. border, and bring it back down into the U.S. But most of the time, no. Most of the time, the product is free. If they want additional services of installation, that is a cost to them. And what I'm finding in this, when you give to nonprofits, they realize they are saving, Aspire is saving hundreds of thousands of dollars in this amazing gift. I believe they are, which allows them then to do their expansion of their own dreams and vision. But they also know the value of ANEW. So oftentimes charities will give us a donation, because that's how we survive. So we are a nonprofit, a
There's
charitable
4 of us.
nonprofit. Yeah,
4 of us doing this line.
That's right. We're not a big company, right here. Right there's 2. So the other half better be working, right? So it all depends. Wayne, thank you for that question. Any other questions?
I have one more question. This sounds like a great program. I think it's great because I trying to give furniture away, struggled with finding a charity that was willing to bear some of the cost.
Right.
Of course, wanting to do the right thing, so on, and it's very challenging. Of course, you want to support your local charities. Right. But aside from that, are you engaged with IFMA National at all, and leveraging National's reach to facility professionals?
No, and that's why we're here.
That's why you're here. That's why Kevin is
It's a wonderful opportunity
it's
for
your
us
task.
Kevin can do it.
to help us network.
These
and get
guys
the
have
word out.
been amazingly connected to the end user. I mean, our relationship's been 2 years now. Really that? And I found that they were really connected to the end user, but not so much exposure to the design community. So part of our goal in the partnership is to take them to a contract forum in Arc Interiors to do venues like this, to connect with IFMA, You do a great job at Cornet, so you guys are involved in Cornet, so they have that presence. But it's just getting that word out. I mean, you guys are going to be so busy. We're going to need another Becky.
One more person. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah.
We also wanted to thank Jerry DeCola,
Yeah,
who had the vision a year ago. So he called us the day after NeoCon last year, and we started the dialogue, and here we are today. So it's really wonderful.
Yes. So I have my cards here. If I know for time's sake, I want to keep you on track, but feel free to contact us. You can find us on the website. Please like us on Facebook. We're always wanting that, of course. We want 10 million likes soon, so you're part of that. But again, give me a call. Don't call me tonight, please, because I'm flying home. But again, I want to thank you for your investment coming today. I want to thank Technion for this beautiful hosting of this program today and their hospitality. And I want to thank Aspire and Office Max for your great work. I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear how this all works in the end. Okay? So thank you for coming today.
So if any of you are interested in the tour, before you go, Derek Rush is on your board of IFMA here in Chicago. And just a housekeeping issue, if you have your box, could you just put the box on the counter there? We're going to pull out the organic and the paper to recycle it all. If you've already put it in the can, no problem. But lots of desserts, and then I think you have
Just some housekeeping on our side, if you please.
Do you need that mic again?
Please fill out the surveys for the program as well as the sustainability survey. And I'm going to provide